Hola y bienvenidos a Confessions of a Curious Ear, el podcast donde exploramos el mundo a través de historias, spanglish y sarcasmo. Mi nombre es Laura Matías. Feliz día de Independencia a los dominicanos. Bueno, no es hoy, pero lo será en unos días. Y sí, esto es muy emocionante para celebrar el Día de Independencia de República Dominicana. Escogí, un libro de un autor dominicano. We're talking about The Brief, Wondrous Life of Óscar Wao de Junot Díaz. Este libro de ficción contemporánea y realismo mágico se publicó en el 2007. Está ambientada en New Jersey, en the Dominican Republic, entre 1940 y 1990, como que en esas décadas. Trata sobre esta familia que se llama los de León. Hay como un fuku, or like a curse, en su familia. So it talks about, what that entails, and it goes crazy. Especial. También habla mucho sobre cómo la dictadura de Rafael Leónidas Trujillo afectó mucho this family and the decades afterwards. Yeah, it's a good book. So yeah, yo le di un 4 de 5. I think it's really interesting como que la prosa like mezcla Spanglish, Dominican regional slang, and fantasy and science fiction references, which makes it super interesting to read. Aunque déjenme decirles, este libro es como que medio particular, por eso me da cosa como que más o menos recomendarlo, porque es medio particular. Si usted no conoce ni de Spanglish, ni Dominican Regional Slang, ni fantasy or science fiction references, then no sé qué tanto usted vaya a poder entender ese libro. Si tal vez tú sabes como que Spanglish y Dominican Regional Slang, but you don't know as much fantasy and science fiction references like me, then I think you can still enjoy the book y entenderlo pretty well. Ahora, si you know Spanglish, Dominican Regional Slang, and the fantasy and science fiction references, then congratulations, you completed the trifecta. This book is perfect for you. Otra cosa is that this book has footnotes explaining como que some of the science fiction and fantasy references y también algunos de Dominican history and the Dominican slang, which I think is pretty neat. A mí me gustan los libros que traen footnotes. I discovered many facts about la dictadura de Trujillo que no sabía, and some of the slang that I didn't understand. It was very interesting. Besides, I'm a history nerd, so what can I say? Me encanta this dysfunctional family. Each of the characters is like super fascinating. Cada uno tiene como que its backstory and a distinctive personality. And yeah, it's really interesting. Sí, esta historia es básicamente lo que miles de familias estaban sufriendo durante la dictadura de Trujillo. Before we continue, before we go to the spoiler section, I feel like I have to say this. There's clearly a thing with the author that, maybe will make you feel a little bit iffy about reading the book. And I understand that the author did some bad stuff. I get it. I personally found out all this out after I read the book about the author. And besides, I still think it's a good book in spite of what the author has done. And yeah, lo dejo a tu discreción. If you don't want to read the book because of the author, then okay, good for you, I guess. That's your choice. I personally still really enjoyed the book. I still feel like it is a good piece of literature. That's all I'm saying. Okay, antes de ir a la parte de los spoilers, usualmente digo un quote al final, pero también había dos quotes que me gustan, así que diré una ahora y luego otra ahorita. El primero dice así: It's never the changes we want that change everything. Okay, ahora vamos a la sección de los spoilers. Nos vemos cuando termine de leer el libro. Bye. Okay, so vamos a hacer un pequeño resumen of the book. Okay, so primero está Óscar o Óscar Wao. Le dicen, his name is Óscar de León, pero le dicen Óscar Wao because, it's a bastardization of Oscar Wilde. Y sí, Óscar, he's just a nerd, loves science fiction, fantasy. He loves reading and writing. He's kind of obese and he does not have rhythm. He does not have his way with the ladies. He has trouble with the ladies especially. Tú sabes, mucha gente de su comunidad, no lo tratan como dominicano y están como que, pero tú no eres un dominicano de verdad because you don't know how to dance, you don't know how to have your way with the ladies, you're very fat and kind of ugly. So he feels very isolated from his community in that way. Y Oscar is like, what's the word I'm looking for? He's just girl crazy. Instead of boy crazy, he's just girl crazy. He wants a girlfriend. He wants to find love so bad. He tries, but he gets rejected every single time, all the time. Y nada, in high school, he feels very isolated. He's bullied. Girls reject him, all that stuff. Then he goes to college Y en college he meets el que está narrando este libro, which at first I thought, yo todo este rato creí, la mayoría de este libro gets narrated by his roommate, Junior. I thought Oscar was the one narrating, but turns out it's Junior. Junior es el roommate de college de Oscar y también he's like Oscar's sister's ex. His sister, Lola, she knew that Oscar was gonna have a hard time at college, so she told Junior, hey, can you like befriend my brother, take care of him? So Junior does. They become sort of kind of friends. Y Junior is a playboy, he has his way with the ladies, he's always cheating on his girlfriends, has multiple girls all the time, you know, that sort of thing. And he tries to help Oscar, but it doesn't work. Oscar falls in love with this girl named Jenny. She betrays him, so he is heartbroken, so he decides to commit suicide by throwing himself on the train tracks. Which, yeah, I predicted this, that he was gonna commit suicide. I'm not happy that I'm right. But he doesn't die. He survives. He's very well beaten, but he survives. And, you know, he tries to move on with his life. He becomes a teacher at his old high school, but he gets bullied by the students, which, by the way, yo lo que hubiera hecho, if I were a teacher and I were bullied by my students, remember, you're the one with the grade book. You're the one with more power than them. So I'm not saying abuse of power, but if you're being bullied by your students, momentos desesperados, medidas desesperadas, just saying. Okay. Y después de eso, Oscar se va un día de paseo a República Dominicana, a Santo Domingo, a visitar a su familia, and there he meets this 10-year-older, semi-retired prostitute named Yvonne, and he falls for Yvonne, y él le declara su amor, le escribe cartas, he follows her around. The problem is that she has a boyfriend who is a cop. El novio se entera that he and Yvonne are together and everything, manda a matar a Oscar, and Oscar, they killed him. Yep, and that's Oscar's story. Now, hay otras narrativas que suceden aquí. Por ejemplo, está la historia de Lola, la hermana de Oscar. Ella es como muy rebelde, y she has a tough relationship with her mom, y la mamá la maltrata mucho, así que Lola se escapa con su novio and his racist dad, y se escapan y ellos viven juntos, but then she just hates it there, he hates it so much. Así que ella le llama a Oscar, durante este tiempo, esto era antes de que Oscar se fuera a la universidad, so, ella llama a Oscar y le dice, hey, can you bring me some money? He said yes. Y cuando él llega, their mom is with them, which wasn't the plan, y la mamá le echa un bochazo and guilts her into coming back a la casa, and she does. And that's how that story ends. Lola's story. I mean, obviously, después ella va a college, she finds her people, she moves around, and yeah, she does her thing. The story ends with her, like, having a baby girl that Junior, like, hopes will break the family's fuku. So yeah, there's that. By the way, she and Junior, like, yo creo que la ama a Lola, but there's just too much. Too much has happened. He cheated on her multiple times, so that's probably not a good idea, just saying. Okay, también menciona la mamá de Oscar y Lola, que se llama Benny. Ella es okay. Antes de que hablemos de Benny, vamos a hablar del abuelo de Oscar y Lola, que era Abelardo. Él era un doctor en República Dominicana, un doctor muy famoso, muy, muy rico, tenía su esposa, Socorro, su esposa Socorro y 2 hijas. Su hija mayor era muy hermosa, bellísima, hermosa. Y Trujillo le echó el ojo y quería, rape the girl. Y Abelardo finds all the ways and excuses so that su hija no tenga que conocerlo, para no tener que entregársela, so that él hace todas las maromas posibles, pero al final, Trujillo kind of cuts up y arrestan a Abelardo y lo torturan en la cárcel. Mientras él está siendo torturado en la cárcel, su esposa está embarazada with their youngest daughter, y luego Abelardo muere, lo matan, y después de que nace la tercera hija, la mamá commits suicide, then the 2 older daughters como que they die under mysterious circumstances, so to speak, y la hija menor, que es Benny, esta bebé, la venden en la esclavitud y ella es una esclava y la tratan mal, y luego la Inca, que es la abuela de Oscar y Lola, ella adopta a Benny, la saca de la esclavitud y la cría como su hija. La Inca ama a Benny y tiene grandes esperanzas para ella, but she's too much of a perfectionist and had these huge expectations of her. Y Benny como que she's just like her daughter. She's also very rebellious. La ponen en un colegio privado muy fancy, but she does not care about school. She just wants to be with boys and stuff. Ella al principio sale con ese muchacho que se llama Jack Pujols, pero después eso arma un escándalo, which tarnishes her reputation. And then when she, cuando ella se desarrolla, she decides to, use her body to get what she wants from men and stuff. Se escapa de la casa de su mamá. She works in a restaurant. Ella sale también con este tipo que le dicen el gangster. Y ella empieza a salir con este señor, con este hombre mayor, el gangster. And she gets pregnant from him, but she didn't know that, oh, lo and behold, he is married. Not only married to anybody, he's married con una de las hermanas de Trujillo. La mandan a torturar a la muchacha y le caen a golpes en a cane field, so she loses the baby, but she survives, así que ella se escapa a New Jersey y ahí es donde ella tiene a Lola y a Oscar, and yeah, that's kind of how all the stories like get interwoven, y siempre están diciendo que, este es el Fuku, but yeah, it's not really the Fuku, let's be real, it's just Trujillo's. Es la dictadura de Trujillo, literalmente. It was like probably the biggest event in Dominican history ever, literalmente. Hay como, marcó un antes y un después, o sea, las ramifications de este evento literalmente se ven hasta el día de hoy. It's just, como dije antes al principio de este episodio, this could be literally the story of any Dominican family en ese tiempo. Ok, otras cosas que también quería decir sobre el libro. Primero, I relate a lot to Oscar. I know that's weird, but it's kind of true. I'm also like not your typical Dominican, como podemos ver por mi voz y mi forma de hablar, mis gustos de nerd como leer y escribir. I'm socially awkward, not a great dancer, and my love life is also well in shambles. But don't tell anybody about that. But yeah, I relate a lot to him. Creo que mi historia de las favoritas, mi favorita creo que es Lola. I feel like she's the more grounded y la más como que más realista de todas. I don't know, Belly, which by the way, sorry that I've been calling her Benny. I checked, turns out her name is Belly, con B, digo con L. Y sí, lo que no entiendo de Belly es like, why does she like, lo que no entiendo de Belly es como que, ¿por qué ella is so tough con freaking Lola if Lola is literally doing the same things she did in her youth? Is she just trying to asegurarse de que Lola no le pase lo mismo que a ella? Does she resent her? Yeah, I want to know what's going on there. También me gusta mucho la Inca. La Inca es una dura. Yeah, okay, she was not a perfect mother, but she did the best she could, I guess. Otra temática también que toca eso, además de eso, es also the very toxic gender roles. I mean, Oscar literalmente, he gets shamed for not being a womanizer. Junior is popular and loved by everybody because he's a womanizer, and apparently doing that es como que lo que te define como dominicano, and the fact that he's not a womanizer is seen as a bad thing, and it's seen as, oh, you're not a true Dominican if you don't do that to women. Por otro lado está Lola, que su mamá siempre la presiona para que limpie y cocine and serves the family. And Lola doesn't want to do that. She just wants to do her own thing, but she gets shamed for not cleaning and cooking all the time. Y sí, especialmente los masculinos, like the gender roles masculinos and expectations masculinos en este libro are pretty toxic, and it gets singled out really fast. Y como mencioné, I predicted that Oscar was gonna die in the end. I mean, it's literally called The Brief, Wondrous Life of Óscar Wao. I mean, it's brief. It has brief in the name. So we know he's gonna die in the end. We know he's gonna die young. And I thought he was gonna commit suicide. And technically he did, but he did not die from the suicide, which, okay, fine. But I did predict it. I got half of the prediction right, I guess. So yeah, antes de concluir voy a leer esta otra cita, la segunda cita, que esta también me gustó mucho y creo que ties in very well, no solamente con el libro, pero también con la festividad que se está celebrando en este podcast de el Día de Independencia Dominicano. Y dice así: But no matter what, the truth, remember, Dominicans are Caribbean, and therefore have an extraordinary tolerance for extreme phenomena. How else could we have survived what we've survived? Este fue el libro, The Brief, Wondrous Life de Óscar Wao, by Junot Díaz. Espero que les haya gustado. Feliz Día de Independencia a todos los dominicanos y dominicanas. Súper feliz de nacer y vivir donde estoy. Súper feliz. Si les gustó este episodio, suscríbanse al podcast, dejen un review. En la descripción están mis redes sociales. Pueden ask all the questions or say all the comments through there. I read them, I promise. Cuídense, pórtense bien, cómanse todos los vegetales y nos vemos hasta la próxima.